Hey, what's up guys? Ken here from the Retro Toy Escapades channel in Malaysia. Now, with PowerCon 2022 happening this weekend, I was kind of wondering if there was going to be some new information regarding Masters of the Universe figures. Never mind that SDCC 2022 just happened, I think something like about 2 weeks ago, and there was already a flood of information, but you never know. These days, the information just keeps pumping out day after day, and apparently every Tuesday too, thanks to more Tuesdays. So I don't really know if there's anything new coming out of PowerCon, but this news regarding the world's smallest micro figures, this is apparently something that was actually revealed at an event by Toy Insider, and apparently they're going into a second wave of figures. Now, the first wave of figures, I believe, came out last year, and that wave was comprised of 4 figures. So you had Skeletor, you had Tila, you had He-Man, of course, and then you also had Battlecat. Now, these figures are not being put out by Mattel. They're put out by a company called Super Impulse. The size of these figures are about 1.25 inches. Pretty much Micro Machine size. You remember back in the 90s, Micro Machines was like a huge freaking thing. And I was actually into Micro Machines for a while. I especially enjoyed collecting the spin-offs, okay, like when they did Predator or they did Aliens, and they would do all the micro ships and stuff like that. I was kind of like collecting those sets, and I think that they had a limited run. They're pretty rare today. I like the Predator and Alien sets, definitely. I could never really find the Terminator set though, you know. But this, I heard about it. It never actually turned up in Malaysia though. This is not something that actually made it down here to retail. I don't think any hobby stores brought it in. I don't believe the figures will be that expensive. I think they're fairly cheap. And in fact, I think that these are the kind of figures that would be perfect for something like 7-Eleven. You know, these days I walk into a 7-Eleven here in Malaysia and I find all kinds of stuff. And there's like Jurassic World Snap Squads. There's like those Transformers mini bots, you know, those Transformers that don't actually transform, and they're in blind bags. They have Marvel superheroes that come in blind bags. There's all kinds of stuff, you know. These figures would in fact be perfect for stores that aren't toy stores, okay, but they still need a section devoted to action figures and toys that are fairly cheap and inexpensive. Now, these figures don't exactly appeal to me currently, but I can still understand the appeal. And you know what? If they were actually in front of me, I may still end up picking up a few of them. However, like I said, I never saw them in person, so I never really thought about them. But I saw these images here of this Wave 2 batch of figures that are coming out, and something about them intrigued me. So I decided that, hey, let's do a video and talk about it. First up, we have what appears to be an actual playset this time around. The biggest playset ever for the masters of the Microverse. Castle, Grayskull. Well, at least a playset that's the size of maybe a giant eraser. That being said, this is still quite nice to see. Based on what's stated on the outer packaging, the castle opens to store 1 figure inside. So this is kind of what they did with the first batch of Eternia Minis, which all came with tiny replicas of Castle Grayskull that the figures were blind boxed in. Essentially, this is more of a carrying case and not a playset. Or maybe it's a small dungeon. What really starts to get my interest going is the sight of variants, like the Slime Pit He-Man here. So early in the line and we are already seeing variants. But this has been a very popular and often requested variant of He-Man, the zombified version of our hero after being exposed to Hodak's Slime Pit. Now, we've already seen versions of this done by Reaction, Mega Constructs, and even Funko Pop. And it's only a matter of time before it turns up in Origins too. But that being said, it also feels a bit lazy that a variant of He-Man is already turning up and it's only the second wave of the series. Speaking of variants, we also get Leo's Skeletor. To be honest, I wasn't even aware or keeping track of the fact that Skeletor had this variant Leo Toys version. Now, Leo Toys was based out of India in the 80s, and they had the license from Mattel to produce Masters of the Universe toys for the market in India. For some of the figures, it seems they went in their own direction and used darker paint applications on the figure's body and accessories, as you can see here with the armor on Skeletor. Just how many of these Leo Toys variants are there anyway? I thought the most popular one was Faker, so popular that he got turned into a super exclusive for Origins last year. The last figure in this wave is Orco. Now, assuming that all these figures are in scale, which they should be, Orco would then be super tiny. Make sure that your cat doesn't get to him. Now, overall, I'll have to say that these do look fairly interesting to me, especially when they're carded. all right, like with the graphics and the character illustrations on the side, they look pretty great. But that Castle Grayskull, man, that packaging on Castle Grayskull has got to be the absolute laziest I've ever seen. Okay, I mean, that is just downright ugly. Like an entire black space, an empty black void, and just the tiny castle in the middle. What? If they could have just filled up the background with some graphics, like maybe even just the castle walls, this would have stood out a whole lot better. Anyway, I'm not sure if this is the final packaging. It sure looks like it though. Okay, but we'll wait and see. Okay, so that's the video. Let me know what you guys thought of it. Let me know what you guys think of Masters of the Universe Micro Figures Wave 2. Let me know if you collected the first wave. All right, what did you guys think of those? What did you guys do with them? Anyway, thanks for joining me. I'll catch you guys again real soon with more content here. Take care out there.